Hello everybody, thank you for watching. This is a video on how to write a CER paragraph. A CER paragraph stands for Claim, Evidence, and Reasoning. The objectives for this video is to identify what is a claim, evidence, and reasoning, and then use sentence starters in a CER paragraph. And then lastly, using our claim, evidence, and reasoning, learn how to write a CER paragraph. Let's first start talking about what is claim, evidence, and reasoning. In a scientific explanation, we have three main components: claim, evidence, and reasoning. A claim answers the question. It could also serve as a hypothesis. Using our claim and our evidence is data that supports our claim. And then lastly, our reasoning is the scientific principle or the understanding that connects our evidence to our claim. These three components together are going to equal a scientific explanation. Another way to put it is claim is basically what do you know, our evidence is how do you know that, and lastly, our reasoning is why does your evidence support your claim. Claim, evidence, and reasoning, when all put together, is going to equal a scientific explanation. So we know our reasoning connects our evidence and claim together. Sometimes you're going to have multiple pieces of evidence with multiple pieces of reasoning that is all going to work together to support our claim. In order to understand how to write a CER paragraph, we're going to start by learning some sentence starters. So the first sentence starters we're going to learn are the ones that involve a claim. Some sentences that you can start with, you can say, I observed blank when blank occurred. The effect of blank on blank is this. I noticed blank when blank. I compared blank and blank. Next, let's talk about some evidence sentence starters. Some evidence sentence starters you could use in a CER paragraph is I believe blank, which would be a statement because of some sort of justification. The evidence I use to support blank is blank. Based upon blank, my hypothesis is blank. I know blank is blank because of something. And these are all pieces of different types of evidence. You can also say, based on blank, I think blank. Now let's talk about some reasoning sentence starters. So reasoning, if you remember, is the scientific principle that kind of connects our evidence to our claim. You can say the most logical conclusion we can draw from the evidence is blank because of blank. These facts work together to build a case that blank because of blank. Based on evidence, we must conclude blank because of blank. All of this proves blank because of blank. And notice that we're always ending with because we want to kind of connect our reasoning with our evidence and ultimately our claim. You can also say the reason I believe blank is because of blank. Let's specifically talk about the claim, evidence, reasoning CER method. So we know that we talked about a claim. So when you're writing your claim, you write a statement that responds to the question. Your evidence provides scientific data, so it's specific numbers and quantitative and qualitative observations that will be used to convince somebody that your claim is correct. You can write this as bullet points instead of sentences, because then you're going to use your reasoning, which ultimately explains why your data, which is your evidence, supports your claim. In other words, how does your data prove your point? Your explanation must include scientific principles / knowledge. And all that is things that you're going to learn in class. And that you have to know about the topic, and you need to use that in order to prove your evidence and show how it supports your claim. Let's take a look at an example. So here we have a life science example. It says a common type of asexual reproduction found in nature is called mitosis. Mitosis requires less energy than sexual reproduction does. Mitosis can occur in seconds and does not require a mate to reproduce. Sexual reproduction requires two compatible parents. It also requires time to produce the egg and sperm and then for fertilization to occur. Energy is required to find a compatible mate, produce sex cells, and for fertilization. Therefore, mitosis requires less energy than sexual reproduction does. So what I want you to do is just take a look at this paragraph and identify the claim, evidence, and reasoning. Taking a look at this paragraph, you can see that our claim is outlined in blue. The claim is mitosis requires less energy than sexual reproduction. The evidence that supports this claim is that mitosis can occur in seconds, it doesn't require a mate to reproduce, and it also takes time to produce the egg and sperm cell. All of this are evidence that are supporting our claim. Our scientific principle behind this CER paragraph is that energy is required to find a compatible mate, produce sex cells, and fertilization. Therefore, mitosis requires less energy than sexual reproduction does. So you can see how all three of these pieces of evidence are built around each other and supports your ultimate scientific explanation. Some things you want to remember when you're writing your reasoning, because this is what students tend to always struggle with. How do you write your overall CER paragraph? The first step you want to take is to restate your claim. Then you want to provide some scientific principles and knowledge that you already have about the topic. Then step 3 says provide data from the activity. So that's the lab, the simulation that connects your scientific principle/knowledge you mentioned in step 2. Basically showing how your data can be used to prove your claim. Then step number 4 is a conclusion. So you're wrapping up your reasoning with a conclusion sentence that begins with words such as like therefore, hence, thus, so, and then ultimately you're restating your claim. Let's take a look at an example CER paragraph. Our question says, are any of the liquids in the data table the same substance? So we take a look at the table and examine the 3 liquids and their density, color, mass, and melting point. We can claim that liquid 1 and 4 are the same substance. Some evidence that is provided from your observation, you can say that liquid 1 and 4 have the same density, physical appearance, they have no color, and they have the same melting point. Your scientific reasoning is you're explaining why your data supports your claim. You can say liquid 1 and 4 are the same substance. You're restating your claim. Then you're showing your evidence. In order for liquid 2 to be on the same substance, they might have the same properties. Liquid 1 and 4 both have the same densities, melting points, and color. Therefore, which is your conclusion sentence, liquid 1 and 4 are the same substance. The last thing I'm going to show you is our CER rubric that we're going to use in this class. So in order to get a full percentage on our CER paragraph, we want to take a look at what requirements we need in our claim, our evidence, and our reasoning in order to fulfill 24 total points. So whenever you're required in this course to write a CER paragraph, you always want to take a look at this rubric to make sure that your paragraph is aligned to all the requirements. And that concludes our video today. And in this video, you talked about claim, evidence, and reasoning. We talked about sentence starters. We learned how to write a CER paragraph, and we learned how to use claim, evidence, and reasoning and be able to identify it. Thank you for watching.